Welcome to This Explainer. Imagine your financial life not as some stressful, towering pile of bills or an endless, draining cycle of tracking expenses, but as an epic hero's journey. Today, we're mapping out the ultimate quest to take absolute control of your personal finances and chart a direct course toward real, lasting wealth. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you, what does true financial independence actually look like to you? For a lot of us, dealing with money can feel, well, kind of like wandering in the dark. You're constantly battling the anxiety of financial disarray. But what if there was a clear, illuminated path right out of the woods? A proven sequence of steps that actually transforms you from playing defense and just surviving to playing offense and building real wealth.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, defeating high-interest debt. Second, mastering your monthly budget. Third, tracking with digital tools. Fourth, niche income and savings. And finally, achieving early retirement.
All right, Section 1, defeating high-interest debt.
Okay, let's dive into this. To slay the dragon of high-interest consumer debt, the source material highlights two completely different yet incredibly effective strategies. On the left, we have the debt avalanche. This is really for the mathematically minded among us. You attack the debt with the highest interest rate first, which basically minimizes the total interest you end up paying over time. On the right is the debt snowball. Now, this one focuses heavily on psychology. You pay off the absolute smallest balance first to get those quick emotional wins that keep you motivated. Look, neither is wrong. It literally just depends on how your brain is wired to succeed.
Now, while we're busy eliminating bad debt, we absolutely have to avoid creating new bad debt, right? Especially on depreciating assets like vehicles. The Money Guy source provides a really brilliant framework here, the 23-8 car buying rule. If you absolutely must finance a reliable car, put at least 20% down, pay the car off in 3 years or less, and keep your total monthly payments to 8% or less of your gross income. If a loan falls outside of these rules, you are taking on a high-interest liability that's going to seriously stall your journey.
Moving right along to Section 2, mastering your monthly budget. You know, a budget isn't a straitjacket, it's actually a weapon. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the best out there, the 50-30-20 rule. According to U.S. Bank, this percent-based budget splits your after-tax income into 3 nice, clean slices. 50% covers your absolute needs, housing, groceries, keeping the lights on. 30% is for your wants, dining out, hobbies, the fun stuff. And that last 20% is strictly dedicated to savings and paying off debt. It's incredibly flexible and honestly does a great job helping you balance living for today with planning for tomorrow.
But what if you need something just a little bit stricter? Enter zero-based budgeting. As the definition outlines, this means assigning literally every single dollar a specific job so that at the end of the month, your income minus your expenses equals exactly zero. Now, you aren't necessarily spending it all, you're just accounting for it all. If you're someone who struggles with overspending or those casual purchases just sneaking up on you, this level of discipline really forces you to evaluate if every single swipe of the card is truly worth it.
Okay, Section 3, tracking with digital tools. To keep from getting totally overwhelmed by the math, we've got to let technology crunch the numbers. Here's a rapid-fire toolkit of some of the best free Excel budget templates out there. The Tiller Foundation template is a major standout here. It's actually the only automated Excel budget workbook officially recommended by Microsoft, and it pulls in your daily spending automatically. If you want to build a budget based on your past habits, the Budget Plan template is incredibly powerful for that. And hey, if you loved the 50-30-20 rule we just talked about, the Nerd Wallet worksheet strictly follows that exact system. Pick your weapon and automate your success.
Which brings us to Section 4, niche income and savings.
All right, it's time to shift strategies and go on the offensive. One really fascinating avenue is short-term rental arbitrage. Just look at this quote from AirDNA CEO Scott Shatford. He notes that rental arbitrage is taking on a whole new meaning. It's evolving from simple house hacking into a fully streamlined, transparent way for both renters and owners to benefit. In short, this is when you rent a property long-term and then rent it out short-term on platforms like Airbnb or Vrbo, pocketing the difference. Pretty clever, right?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this number right here, $2,487. According to HostAway's data, that is the potential average monthly revenue for a short-term rental arbitrage property in Boston, assuming a 64% occupancy rate. It just goes to show the incredible earning potential in high-demand, non-dense coastal markets, provided, of course, that you navigate the local regulations and licensing requirements very carefully.
Pivoting to another highly specialized tool, we have tax-advantaged accounts like the Minnesota ABLE plan.
Now, this plan is specifically designed to provide secure funding for disability-related expenses. It actually allows individuals and families to save private funds and grow them tax-free for Minnesota residents. But the best part? It protects those assets from state creditors and ensures they don't supplant vital benefits like Medicaid. It's an absolute game changer for those who qualify.
And because we obviously always want to track where every dollar goes, let's break down the actual fee structure of this specific account. The aggressive option carries a 0.37% total annual asset-based fee, while the conservative option is slightly lower at 0.34%. Both of those have a $15 quarterly maintenance fee. Alternatively, there's a super straightforward checking option with zero asset-based fee and just a $2 monthly service charge. Understanding these mechanics is absolutely crucial to ensuring you maximize the value of these niche savings tools.
And finally, Section 5, Achieving Early Retirement. We have officially arrived at the cinematic climax of our journey. So, what exactly is FIRE? It stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. The first source bank documentation defines it as a lifestyle movement combining aggressive saving, investing, and budgeting to exit the workforce well before the traditional age of 65. But let's be absolutely clear here. This requires extreme discipline. To pull this off, followers of FIRE frequently save anywhere from 50% to 70% of their entire income. It's literally a fundamental rewiring of how you consume and save.
But FIRE really isn't a one-size-fits-all strategy. There are actually 3 distinct paths depending on what you want your lifestyle to look like. Lean FIRE demands extreme frugality and a very minimalist lifestyle to retire as fast as humanly possible. Fat FIRE, on the other hand, is for high-income earners who want to maintain a really luxurious standard of living in retirement. And then there's Barista FIRE, which is this super interesting middle ground. Basically, you save enough to quit the corporate grind, but you keep working a lower-stress part-time job to supplement your income and maybe secure some health benefits.
So the crucial point is, how do you actually know when you've hit the finish line? Well, the answer lies in the rule of 25. You take your projected annual expenses in retirement and simply multiply that number by 25. For example, if you plan to spend $40,000 a year, you need $1 million saved. That simple multiplication gives you the exact target number you need to hit to officially declare financial independence.
And that naturally brings us to the companion of the Rule of 25, the 4% rule. Once you do retire, this mathematical rule states you can safely withdraw exactly 4% of your total portfolio value in the first year and then just adjust for inflation in the years after that. Historically speaking, this was designed to ensure you literally don't run out of money while your investments just quietly continue to grow in the background.
We've mapped out the whole shebang today, from slaying the dragon of high-interest debt to automating your budget, leveraging those niche tools, and finally reaching the absolute summit of early retirement. So I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Which step of the financial journey will you conquer today? The roadmap is right here in front of you, waiting. It's time to take that first step. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you on the next one.